Welcome back to News and Views right here on Salam Media with myself, Salailo Makwidiri. Right now, we'll be focusing on a rapidly escalating crisis in the occupied West Bank, where at least 9 Palestinians were killed during a large-scale Israeli military operation in Jenin. This assault, backed by helicopters, came just a day after U.S. President Donald Trump lifted sanctions on Israeli settlers accused of violent attacks against Palestinian villages. And also, just a few days since that ceasefire announcement that we're all so excited and really, really happy to have in place. The situation right now highlights, I think, the growing volatility in the region, with Hamas calling for intensified resistance and Israeli settlers reportedly attacking Palestinian villages, leading to significant destruction and fear among residents. And this is all happening against this backdrop. Questions about justice, accountability, and the future of peace in the region remain urgent. And joining us to unpack this complex and very, very troubling situation is a Palestinian archeologist, Al-Aqsa Mosque expert and activist, Abeer Zayyad. She brings a unique perspective to the ongoing conflict, particularly when it comes to the cultural and historical significance of the sites at the heart of this tension. Abeer, assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah so much for joining us. And welcome to Salam Media.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I think first and foremost, just to set the backdrop of what happened, could you provide just your perspective on the significance of Jenin, not just strategically but also culturally and historically, in the context of this Israeli settler conflict, imposed conflict on the Palestinian people?
Okay. Assalamu alaikum first, and thank you for this interview. For Jenin, even in 1948, when Israel tried to occupy it, it was one of the hardest places for them, and they was not able to occupy it in 1948. And the people in that time, they fight very hard to protect Jenin. And they succeed in that time. They was not succeed in 1967. Through history, Jenin, and even before this, and during the British occupation, the Jenin, the leader of the revolution in 1936. So Jenin, since the beginning of the last century, was one of the most important area in Palestine to lead the struggle, to lead the protection, lead the Mujahideen in their fight against the occupation, the British one, and after that, the Israeli one. Also in the second Intifada, we can't forget how they attacked Jenin camp and how they destroyed it, and how many people was killed, and how much the people also fight hard to protect themselves and to protect Jenin. And Jenin people are very strong people. Till today, Jenin is hard place for them, but from the same time, Jenin is one of the richest area by the land. The land there is very rich, and that you can have a very good agriculture. It's a very beautiful area, and this is mainly why Israel was interested in occupied it in 1948, because they know how much this will be important for food and for the agriculture. So Jenin from all aspects is very important area, and especially Mukhayyam Jenin, which contains people who away from 1948 from their villages that was destroyed, and they stay in the camp. They was dreaming of going back to their villages. So it's become like a long generation fight to try to have liberation.
Can you give us, some details on this recent Israeli strike on Jenin that has left, unfortunately, 9 people dead? What happened there? Do we have details and some context on the happenings there?
First of all, there is no stopping for attacking Jenin since years now. Each few months they do something, operation as they call it, or attacking, or each time they do it with concentration on Jenin camp. And of course, now after they have ceasefire in Gaza, all the army that they take it from Gaza, they send it to the West Bank, especially to north of West Bank. So before Jenin, they was attacked in Qalqilia, which is very close to Jenin. And after that, they start attacking Jenin. They say that they want to kill all the terrorists, which means that they want to kill all the Palestinians, and they want to destroy the resistance in all Palestine, any kind of resistance, even if it was a peaceful one, they does not want it. And this is we was expecting because we know that the settlers did not like the ceasefire in Gaza, and we know that the price it will be in the West Bank to make them shut up. So we know from the beginning that the situation will become much harder in the West Bank. So even in Shafat camp, which is in Jerusalem yesterday, also they attacked and they killed the people there. They shot a lot of youth yesterday in Shafat camp. So the attacking is every day and every night in a different area in Palestine, but the concentration is on Jenin. Also the checkpoints, the roads is closed completely since the ceasefire started in Gaza. The roads in the West Bank, in Jerusalem, start being closing just to cross a small area like Jabba in north of Jerusalem. You need around 4 hours just to cross 1 kilometer. You can imagine that the situation in whole the West Bank like that, and the attacking is everywhere. So the concentration is in Jenin, but the attacking is everything in the West Bank. The goal is to make the people as much as they can to emigrate and take more land for them inside the West Bank. And already they have announced they will start new settlements in the West Bank.
Quite concerning. How does the escalation in Jenin and just the broader West Bank, as you mentioned, impact the symbolic and cultural importance of Al-Aqsa Mosque and other historical sites in occupied Palestine?
All the Palestinian people, all of them, the main thing is them is Al-Aqsa Mosque. This is something is very, very necessarily and very important for each one of us. But we know that the attacking also and the changing inside Al-Aqsa Mosque is happening more and more and more every day. Even now, there is linking inside the Dome of the Rock, and we does not have the ability to renovate it because of the situation. So when you speak about Palestinian people, all their mentality is connected with Al-Aqsa Mosque. So you can't just separate Jenin or other area from that, but Jenin have a very hard warrior, hard people that they stand against Israel. And as I said at the beginning, from the beginning, Jenin was one of the main goals for Israel because of the agriculture. Even if the people there was not strong enough, they will attack them even in this way. The goal is to take the land. It's not about resisting, or it's not about if there is a fighter or not. It's not about if there is a dangers on them as they claim. The main thing for them is how much land they take it and how much this land is having important for them.
I want to focus
I hope that
on,
you
yes, definitely understood it. I want to focus now on the lifting of sanctions on the settlers by the Trump administration. It was one of the things that he did. It has drawn widespread criticism, but how do you believe this decision will kind of embolden settler activities, and what message does it send to Palestinians living under occupation, the lifting of sanctions on settlers by the Trump administration just a few days ago?
It's not only about that decision, also the new ambassador that they put it to the Palestine, which is none as a supporter for the settlers, is another problem. The Israeli the Israeli already had this new ambassador had already says that that the Palestinians have the chance to have a Palestinian state for them, and that state was in Gaza.
Mm,
And he was very, very clear in his statement that the West Bank is not part from Palestine land at all. And so, if you connected with what Trump had done to these settlers, you understand that the coming days in the coming years for Trump, the goal is to finish the Palestinian in the West Bank, and that the Palestinian land will be part from Israel in their definition. Like if you remember, in the last time for Trump, he considered Jerusalem, even East Jerusalem, which was occupied in 1967, as part from the capital of Israel. And he moved the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. So this is a huge change and a very hard time which is coming to the West Bank people and to Jerusalem. The goal, as we said, that they take the whole West Bank and there is no Palestinian state. As this new ambassador say, the only Palestinian state that we can have is in Gaza. And he say even that we blow that, and it's not a chance now to have that Palestinian state.
mm, mm. And just in closing, Abeer, are there fears from the residents of the West Bank that, something that happened in Gaza could ultimately happen to them and their living conditions?
Of course, the people are terrified. They know that this is what they are coming, and already they was suffering from it, but little
Mm,
in a small version each area in a different day in a different time. And this is the problem that and the media does not speak outside about what is happening really in the West Bank, even during what was happening in Gaza. And we hope that it will not be done again, that during that time, Israel was attacking almost every day in the West Bank and in Gaza, in West Bank and Jerusalem, and no one was speaking about what is happening. So
mm,
Israel
mm,
used the time of the war of Gaza also to make a huge changes in the West Bank. Just 2 days ago, they entered to the Funduk village in Qalqilia, and they start burning the houses. No one speak about that. No one discuss about burning of the houses, attacking of the people, demolishing the houses in daily basis. All these people who get out from jail, you can see how their situation is. You can see the changes that is happening on them. You can understand how many prisoners that we have inside the jail. So we hope that at least after all what's happened in Gaza, at least the world outside understand exactly what is happening, not only in Gaza, also in the West Bank and Jerusalem.
mm, mm. I think we're going to leave on that note, Abeer. Thank you so much for giving us the latest
And Jerusalem.
on that Israeli strike in Jenin, which has unfortunately left 9 people dead. So, yes, I think it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. I think, Abeer, they're making a very, very important observation that with the ceasefire in Gaza, the focus now from the Israeli forces is obviously the West Bank, the occupied West Bank, and Jenin, they being the primary target. She mentioned that, the soldiers, all those that were deployed in Gaza are now being redirected to Jenin and the West Bank. So yeah, I think this opens another new chapter on Israeli occupation and the consequences that it has for the people of Palestine. So it's going to be an interesting couple of days going forward. This is going to be obviously a reaction from the Israeli occupying forces on that ceasefire deal that was struck in Gaza. A lot of them are particularly not happy about it. The settlers are not happy about it, and it looks like the people that will bear the brunt of that unhappiness will now be the people of the West Bank. So yeah, really interesting times ahead, and we need to keep we need to keep, a really, really sharp eye on the West Bank. I think Abeer mentioned there that, while there was a whole genocide happening in Gaza, the West Bank also was facing its atrocities. There were large-scale murders, on the people of the West Bank, and literally no one was saying anything about it. But I think now is the time, to kind of divide our attention between Gaza and also what's happening in the West Bank. So really, really interesting times ahead. There was Abeer Zayyad. She's a Palestinian archeologist and an expert on Al-Aqsa Mosque, and she's coming to us live from Al-Quds. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, News and Views continues after this.